And we are getting straight to breaking news right now. 3 children and their parents are dead after an early morning house fire in Thurston County. This all happened in a rural area at a home on Sherman Valley Road in Olympia. Thanks for choosing King 5. I'm Madison Wade. King 5's Connor Board has been in Thurston County for about 3 hours as investigators try to find the cause of this fire. She's joining us now live. And Connor, what do we know about this?
Madison, we do know that there was one survivor in this fire. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office tells me that a teenage girl who was visiting was staying overnight and she was able to escape. Now investigators are trying to figure out the cause of this tragic fire. An early morning fire ending with 3 children and both their parents dead.
We received a 911 call from a neighbor that there were flames visible. And our response was immediate. Within several minutes, our personnel and fire personnel were arriving on scene.
Lieutenant Cameron Semper with the Thurston County Sheriff's Office says the West Thurston Fire Department and multiple other agencies worked for hours to put out the large fire that they say started in the house.
We're in a very rural part of the county, and so there's no fire hydrants in this area, so the water used to fight this fire had to be brought in on tenders.
The 5 family members and a teenage girl who was staying overnight were all in the house when the fire started, but the teenage visitor was able to escape.
The juvenile female that was able to make it out of the home was transported to an area hospital with minor smoke inhalation, and just to ensure that there's no additional injuries as a result of this fire.
Right now, the Sheriff's Office says there is no indication of criminal activity, and it may take several days before they can identify a cause.
It is important for us to determine what caused this fire, not only for this investigation, but so we can educate the public to prevent future fires as well.
Right now, the Sheriff's Office is not releasing the names or ages of the victims, but they say that the bodies will be sent for autopsy as they continue to investigate. Reporting in Thurston County, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Connor, thank you. We are going to continue to follow the aftermath of this fire all evening long. We'll hear from Connor again at 5:30 and work to bring you the very latest through a special edition of King 5 News tonight at 6.
Keep ringing those alarm bells and keep talking about the issues that you see in the world, especially with regard to the environment.
A breath of fresh air for those on the north end of Lake Washington. Next on King 5, we'll explain the cleaner changes on the way.
How do I know when something does show up on my credit that I question? How do I know that that reflected from this mistake?
And personal information of Pierce County voters is leaked. The big questions that remain tonight. And we are following breaking news out of Thurston County. 5 people have died following a fire this morning. We know crews are going to be there throughout tomorrow. We're checking back in with Connor Board live at 5:30. King 5 News is just 2 minutes away.
5 family members are dead and 1 person was taken to the hospital after an early morning house fire in Thurston County. Coming up in 2 minutes, we'll share what we know about the victims and the investigation.
We are returning to breaking news right now. A tragedy in Thurston County. 3 children and their parents are dead after an early morning house fire. We know it happened at a home on Sherman Valley Road in Olympia. King 5's Connor Board was on scene today as investigators try to find a cause, and she's joining us now live from a local fire department which responded to the fire today. Connor, what do we know?
Madison, we do know that there was 1 survivor in this fire. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office tells me that a teenage girl was staying over as a visitor and she was able to escape. Now, investigators are working to find the cause of this tragic fire. The Sheriff's Office says a neighbor called 911 around 6:30 this morning after they saw flames coming from the home. The West Thurston Fire Department and multiple other agencies worked for hours to put out the large fire that they say started in the house. 3 kids and both of their parents died in this fire. Their identities have not yet been released. A teenage girl who was visiting overnight, like I said, was able to escape. She was taken to the hospital with minor smoke inhalation. Right now, the Sheriff's Office says there is no indication of criminal activity, and it may take several days before they can identify a cause. Now, the Sheriff's Department says that the bodies will be taken for autopsy and that family has been notified. Reporting in Thurston County, Connor Board, King 5 News.
You can just imagine the trauma that they've experienced, and it's our responsibility to wrap our arms around them.
We are getting right to breaking news tonight. Right now, we're waiting to hear from authorities following a mass shooting in Monterey Park, California. We are expecting a news conference to start any minute. The moment it does, we will go live to that so we can get the very latest information on what has been a very tragic 24 hours in California. A standoff with who could be the gunman ended about 3 hours ago. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Enforcement Bureau tweeted the surrounding community is safe tonight following that standoff. The initial shooting happened at a dance studio near a Lunar New Year celebration. We know at least 10 people are dead. Another 10 are wounded. Those that we know are killed include 5 men and 5 women. We know those who were hurt are listed in various conditions tonight, from stable to serious. Thank you for choosing King 5 for your coverage tonight. I'm Madison Wade. Now, this is the man authorities think may be connected to the crime. Authorities released these photos prior to that standoff ending today. Authorities have not released his name at this point. At one point, they were looking for this man, but they say he is considered armed and dangerous. So here's a closer look again. Authorities are still looking for this man. They have not confirmed if the person involved in the standoff is the same suspect they're looking for tonight. This white van that you see in between those 2 SWAT vehicles was the focus of that standoff earlier this afternoon. Again, that standoff has ended. We can also confirm just 20 to 30 minutes after the shooting happened, a group of people disarmed a gunman who showed up to a second dance studio in a neighboring community. At this point, authorities have not confirmed if those 2 incidents are related. So let's bring in King 5's Cornelius Hawker now. Cornelius, at this point, authorities have not called this a hate crime, but we know this is really tough for the AAPI community.
Yeah, that's right. And we know Tanya also told me attacks on the Asian community, especially shootings, bring back memories of the Wami massacre, which happened in 1983 in the Chinatown International District. 14 people were shot and 13 of them died. And to date, it's the state's deadliest mass shooting. Madison.
Cornelius, thank you. Again, a lot of questions remain tonight, and we are waiting to hear from authorities. They are standing by at a news conference about to start any minute now, and that's when we will learn more details about what happened following this mass shooting in Monterey Park in California. We're expecting that news conference again to start any minute. To recap what we know, 10 people are dead, another 10 hurt in a mass shooting in Monterey Park, California that happened at a dance studio near a Lunar New Year celebration. We also know an armed man showed up to a second dance studio before being disarmed by a group of people. A standoff with that person that may be the suspect ended around 2 this afternoon. We do not know if the suspect has been taken into custody or a possible motive behind the shooting. We are going to keep monitoring for new details minute by minute. We'll share any new information the moment we get it to you on air and online at king5.com. And next on King 5, we're following new details out of California up to the minute. 10 people are dead, another 10 are hurt after a mass shooting in Monterey Park. At this point, authorities have released a picture of the suspect, but no arrests have been announced. We expect a news conference with the latest information to begin any minute. You're taking a live look at that conference now. We're breaking down what we know in 2 minutes. And lanes across 3 major construction projects on roadways around the Puget Sound area are expected to reopen in 12 hours. What time the orange cones will come down ahead of the morning commute. And number 3 returns to the stadium. We have new video of DeMar Hamlin supporting his team in the AFC divisional matchup after previously suffering cardiac arrest. King 5 News returns in 2 minutes.
What a beautiful triumphant story.
We are still following breaking news after a mass shooting in Monterey Park, California. To recap what we know, 10 people are dead, another 10 hurt. We know those who were killed include 5 men and 5 women. The shooting happened at a dance studio near a Lunar New Year celebration. We expect a news conference with the latest information to begin any minute now. You're taking a live look as preparations for that conference begin. Now, we also know an armed man showed up to a second dance studio before being disarmed by a group of people. A standoff with a person that may be the suspect ended around 2 this afternoon. We do not know at this time if a suspect has been taken into custody or a possible motive behind the shooting. We will continue to monitor for new details minute by minute and share any new information we get from this to you again at 5:30.
And then some mid-40s in store. And it does sound like we have our press conference that we're going to get to here shortly.
Good afternoon. My name is Lorena Rodriguez. I'm captain at Sheriff's Information Bureau. Sheriff Luna and officials will provide an update on yesterday's incident. The order of speakers will be Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Robert Luna, Congressmember Judy Chu, Senator Susan Rubio, Assemblymember Mike Fong, Monterey Park Mayor Henry Lowe, and in closing, Monterey Park Police Department Chief Scott Weiss. Thank you.
Well, good evening to everybody, and thank you all for being here and hanging in with us today. It's been a very challenging day. So let me give you what I believe will be the last update of the day, and then after the speakers, I'll come back up here to answer any questions that you may have. Earlier today, the Sheriff's homicide investigators, working alongside all of our law enforcement partners, were able to confirm the identity of the male inside the white cargo van as the suspect in the mass shooting that we had in Monterey Park. Based on the previous information relayed by homicide investigators regarding the white van involved and seen leaving the scene of the incident in the city of Alhambra, the Torrance Police Department was notified, and at 10:20 a.m., the Torrance police officers located the white van matching the description near the area of Sepulveda Boulevard and Hawthorne Boulevard. As Torrance officers pulled behind the vehicle, the white van entered a shopping center parking lot. When officers exited their patrol vehicle to contact the occupant, they heard one gunshot coming from within the van. Officers retreated and requested several tactical teams to respond. 2 armored vehicles responded and were able to restrict the van's movement. At 12:52 p.m., our sheriff's SWAT team approached and cleared the van and determined the suspect sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators conducted a search of the vehicle and determined the male inside the van was the mass shooting suspect. During the search, several pieces of evidence were found inside the van linking the suspect to both locations in Monterey Park and Alhambra. In addition, a handgun was discovered inside the van. The suspect has been identified as Hu Can Tran, and the way that's spelled is H-U-U, middle name C-A-N, last name T-R-A-N. He is a 72-year-old male Asian. I can confirm that there are no outstanding suspects from the mass shooting incident that occurred in the city of Monterey Park. And although that closes a portion of a very long day for all of us, the investigation is still ongoing. Sheriff's homicide detectives are working around the clock, gathering additional information and working on determining the motive behind this extremely tragic event. I would like to thank Chief Weiss and the Monterey Park Police Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
And you're listening in to a news conference happening in Monterey Park following a mass shooting that happened overnight. The investigation continuing into today. We are just learning from officials there in Monterey Park that the suspect involved in this shooting that killed 10 people, wounded 10 others, is no longer alive. That Los Angeles County detective right there confirming that that person took his own life in a white van after police tried to make a traffic stop. This all happened in a parking lot. And that, again, is the latest information from LA County in Monterey Park. So we're learning again tonight that the suspect involved in this mass shooting is no longer alive. That person took his own life. He is a 72-year-old man. His name is Hu Can Tran. We will have much more information on this shooting following the very latest developments from California, also online at king5.com. We'll be right back. Next on King 5, the latest out of Monterey Park. We are just hearing from authorities minutes ago that the suspect in this mass shooting took his own life after shooting 10 other people, killing them and hurting 10 others. That shooting happened at a dance studio near a Lunar New Year celebration. What we know about the case is next. And the number of people killed on Washington roads is climbing. What lawmakers are proposing to bring those numbers down to zero. King 5 News returns in 2 minutes. And returning now to breaking news we have been following this evening. A live news conference is happening right now in Monterey Park, California. This, as we are just learning, the suspect involved in the mass shooting that took the lives of 10 people, 5 men, 5 women, and injuring 10 others. That person has taken their own life, a 72-year-old man named Hu Can Tran. Authorities were looking for him initially. Police, we know, pulled that person over. He was driving a white van, according to authorities. That is when they walked up to the van and heard one single gunshot. Authorities tonight saying that person took his own life after taking 10 other people's lives and wounding 10 others. We know those people are in the hospital right now with serious to stable conditions. This news conference is continuing live right now on king5.com. We have much more information on our website, including what led up to this, but a motive right now is unknown. We do know there were 2 separate locations where this happened, both happening at a dance studio very close to a Lunar New Year celebration. And that suspect tonight, authorities are saying, is connected to both of those incidents. So we will have much more coming up tonight at 10 and 11 on King 5, also our website, king5.com. We are still following breaking news after a mass shooting happened in Monterey Park, California. We heard from authorities live about 20 minutes ago. To recap what we know, 10 people are dead, another 10 hurt. The shooting happened at a dance studio near a Lunar New Year celebration. And we do know the suspect involved, according to authorities, took his own life after the shooting happened at 2 separate locations. Here's another live look at the press conference we showed you earlier. It just wrapped up. We heard from many people involved on the investigative side. Also, we were hearing from people in the AAPI community. We know this area of California is predominantly an Asian community. There was a Lunar New Year celebration happening when this happened. The suspect has been identified as 72-year-old Hu Can Tran, and officials say that he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police add there are no outstanding suspects in the shooting right now. We know 7 of the 10 people who were injured are still in the hospital tonight. We will continue to monitor new details, and we will have much more information coming up tonight at 10 and 11. Again, thank you for watching tonight. Good night.